It's amazing how fast things are changing with technology, right?
Hmm.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, something that's really right at the heart of that shift. How we interact with AI, how we use it, and what it means for us.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a new study here from OpenAI and the MIT Media Lab.
Wow.
Yeah, and it really takes a look at how people are using ChatGPT in the real world. And then we have this Futurism article that really adds some good context to all of that.
So the big goal here for us in this deep dive is to break down what this research is telling us, what it might mean for you, as you're going about your day, as you're interacting with all this new technology, because understanding these changes, these evolutions in how we interact with technology is super important for navigating the world today, the world of tomorrow, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So think of it as gaining knowledge and insights that are actually valuable, the kind of stuff that can inspire you. And that's what we try to do here on Necessary Cookies, our YouTube channel, providing you with thoughtful content to help you become the best version of yourself.
That's right.
So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more deep dives like this. So what really jumped out at you from this study? What was the thing that just kind of hit you?
Well, I got to tell you, I was fascinated by this group that the researchers identified, power users.
Power users.
Yeah, so we're not talking about just casual users here. These are people who are using ChatGPT a lot for extended periods.
A lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the group that showed what the study called problematic use.
Right.
Now, that sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
I mean, what does problematic use actually mean in this context?
Well, they defined it by looking at indicators of addiction. And this includes things like preoccupation, withdrawal symptoms, like if they're not using ChatGPT, loss of control, and even mood modification, that their moods are actually changing based on their interactions with ChatGPT.
Right.
These are pretty significant signs.
Yeah.
Of potential over-reliance on this technology.
So the Futurism article, also touched on this kind of emotional connection that some long-term users were forming, and they're almost seeing ChatGPT as a friend.
Yes, exactly. And, the research actually suggested some users who spend extensive time with a chatbot really reported feeling this emotional bond.
Wow.
And what's interesting is that these individuals, they also tended to be lonelier and more sensitive to change the AI's behavior.
Yeah.
So if the AI changed the way it responded or something, they would really notice it and it would affect them.
This reminds me of those one-sided emotional bonds we often see with, say, media figures.
It's called a parasocial relationship. And it's interesting because now we're seeing it kind of emerge with AI.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really does seem like there's a link there between a lack of fulfilling personal connections, in real life with other human beings, and then you see this development of a deep reliance on AI.
It's true.
For some people, at least.
Yeah, that's a key takeaway.
It's a little bit scary. It raises some important questions about, where people are finding connection and support in their lives.
Absolutely.
But, what's also interesting is that the study also had these surprising kind of twists and turns when they looked at the different ways people were using ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where it gets really fascinating,
Okay.
because they found more emotional language being used in the text-based interactions compared to the advanced voice mode.
Okay.
But then on the other hand, brief use of voice mode was actually linked to better well-being. So it's like, So you see these concerning emotional attachments in some users, but then the study also uncovered these surprising nuances in how different types of interactions were actually playing out.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
Yes.
It seems like voice would feel more personal.
Exactly. And then there's the whole aspect of the purpose of use. Those using ChatGPT for personal reasons, like to discuss their feelings or, their personal life, they actually showed less emotional dependence than those using it for non-personal tasks, like brainstorming for work.
Wait, so hold on. So someone using it to process emotions might be less dependent than someone just using it to get ideas for work.
Yeah.
That's kind of a crazy contrast.
It is. But you know what? The overarching conclusion, the consistent thread through all these findings was the impact of time spent.
So what's the takeaway there? What's the main point for you?
Well, for me, the research really indicates that prolonged engagement with ChatGPT, whether through text or voice, and for personal or non-personal reasons, it increases the risk of emotional dependence for at least some individuals.
So if you're listening, this deep dive into the OpenAI and MIT Media Lab study is really highlighting a critical point. Extended interaction with ChatGPT, it can lead to some unexpected emotional dependencies for some people.
It's something to keep in mind, and it raises a crucial question as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. What does it mean to form relationships with these tools, and how do we establish healthy boundaries? How do we consciously do that?
It's a lot to think about, for sure. Food for thought. Staying informed and gaining a deeper understanding is essential as we navigate this world, which is just constantly changing and evolving around us. And that's what we aim to do with all of our content. Provide valuable knowledge, motivation, inspiration, new ideas, give you some insight, and maybe even a fresh perspective on what success can look like in your life. And if you're looking for thoughtful content, the kind of content that goes beyond the surface, that aims to guide you and ignite that spark within you to become the best version of yourself, well, hit that subscribe button for necessary cookies on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.